Hari Om. What is the most direct and quickest way to experience Bhagavan or God? Let us first understand what exactly is Bhagavan. It is the eternal, undecaying, infinite happiness and peace. And what we all want is such an undecaying, everlasting happiness and peace. So, in a way, what we all seek consciously or unconsciously in our life, all through our life, and the essential nature of Bhagavan are both the same thing: undecaying, infinite, everlasting happiness and peace. But we all seek such happiness or undecaying source of happiness through the worldly objects. Actually, there is no true happiness in any of the worldly objects. No worldly objects can give us peace or happiness, though they seem to be a source of worldly pleasures. But only if we can investigate a bit deeper, the true source of such worldly pleasures are not the worldly objects from which we feel we are in a way deriving such pleasure. The true source of happiness is basically within us, it is not outside of us. When we intend to experience any kind of worldly pleasure through any of the worldly objects, what really happens is like this. Say, for example, I wish to go for a movie, so I make detailed plan, like when exactly I shall go to a movie, with whom and all I shall be going, how exactly I will be going to that particular place, all such things. And one day I shall execute that particular plan to go and watch a movie. And then I do as I had made the elaborate plan earlier, and I am able to fulfill my desire of going and watching a movie. So once I see that movie and I find that my desire to see that particular movie has got fulfilled, then for a very brief period of time, I remain without any thoughts. After fulfilling my desire of watching a movie, there will be a short, very brief period of time wherein I will remain without any thoughts, because as I had fulfilled my desire, and until the next desire happen, I am in the state of interval wherein I remain without any desires or thoughts. It will be a very short interval though. So in that short interval, what happens is that due to that fulfillment of the desire, my mind will subside and sink into its source of the pure I, the existence consciousness, Satchit. So thus when the mind subsides in its source, for that period of time, I remain without any thoughts, and I remain the source of I am or Aham. So this will give me happiness and peace for that particular interval of time. This experiencing of that inherent happiness is what we call as the worldly pleasure in a wrong way, attributing this particular worldly pleasure to that particular external happening or an event or an object. But in reality, I going and watching a movie or that movie hall or that events in that particular movie, all of these are not the true source of my happiness, which results after I watch that particular movie. But the true source of happiness is basically due to the subsidence of my mind or the I thought into its source of pure I, the Atma, self awareness, I am. And due to that particular subsidence of the mind, I experienced what I regarded as the pleasure. So, the source of any kind of worldly pleasures happens only from within, from our own source of the mind, which is the pure I am, Aham, Atma. So, by this way, we can easily understand that whatever the desires we wish to fulfill in this world, the source of the happiness which results after the fulfillment of the desires is not that particular worldly object which we wrongly regarded, but rather our own true inner nature of existence consciousness, Satchit. Once we deeply understand this truth, then our mind will not go after any of the worldly objects to experience pleasure, because now we fully understand that no insentient object can give us peace or happiness. Only something which is self aware, which shines by itself, which reveals itself by itself, can actually give us happiness. And it can only be the Atma or the existence consciousness, Satchit, which is self aware and Swayam Prakashamana, which shines by itself. It is the only thing which is aware of itself on its own, and it is the source of all that which are insentient. But because of this source of self awareness, all these insentient objects or seem to be or seemingly look to be source of happiness, like our body, our mind, worldly objects, etc. So the only thing which is self aware, or the only reality which is self aware, is only the Atma or the Aham or the I am, Nirguna Brahman, Sachidananda, Atma, God, Ishvara. So only such awareful being can give us happiness and peace. And this existence consciousness is within all of us, all beings, inside and outside. It exists in everything, sentient and non-sentient beings, inert, which moves, which don't move, above and below, within and also infinite, beyond everything. It encloses everything. It is also within the minutest atoms of everything. Such is the nature of existence consciousness, the Atma. So now what is happening is that we are wrongly seeking such happiness or Bhagavan in the external worldly objects, whereas its true source is within. It is not outside. It is within all of us. It is the very nature of all of us. And it is the experience of all of us, as it is the very inherent nature of all of us as our own inner awareness existence, Satchit, the I am. It is only with this I am, our mind with the source of I am rises up, identifies itself with this body as I, which is the first wrong notion, and then based on this wrong notion we start identifying with the worldly objects as I am so and so, and I am interacting with these worldly objects, etc. So it is the Atma Buddhi, the false notion of I am this body idea, due to the wrong knowledge of identifying ourselves with a finite form, name and form. So the true happiness is already there within all of us. So it is more like when we say that I don't know where happiness is or I am seeking happiness, it is something saying like I don't have a tongue. It is something saying like water saying that it feels thirsty. So it is basically due to wrong knowledge. And such wrong knowledge can only be rectified with a right knowledge. This is the most straight approach. If I am seeing a rope as a snake in some kind of dim light, what I need to do to ensure that is it really a rope or a snake? I need to look in more detailed way, with more focus, to find out what exactly it is. Is it really a rope or is it a snake? So with more focused seeing, maybe with some more light, torch or whatever it is, we investigate more deeper, and then we will come to know whether something is a rope or a snake. So once we understand it is a rope, then we will get rid of that fear of seeing something as a snake. So it is the right knowledge which is necessary to eliminate the wrong knowledge which we already have. So what is the reason for this wrong knowledge? The I thought which rises up, identifying ourselves as I am this body, I am so and so, is the root cause of all of the issues. It hides our true nature, and immediately it also multiplies itself into tens of millions of thoughts, and then it has been hiding our true vision since time immemorial, with such infinite number of thoughts all the time, so that we don't see our true nature. So only with the practice of Mahayoga, as we eradicate all these unwanted thoughts by always keeping our attention on the source of the thoughts, as and when any thoughts arise, immediately we shift our attention towards the source of the thoughts, wherefrom thought has risen up. So thus by this constant shifting of the attention from the external objects or thoughts towards the source of the mind, which is basically the I am, the Satchit, the Atma, we thereby make the thought subside and mind naturally sinks into its source of the pure I, the pure being. Thereby we experience our true nature of existence consciousness. As we keep on doing this process often, every day, with as and when any thoughts arise, one gains that skill to remain in the source of the mind, to remain as the pure being as much possible. And in due course of time, it becomes very easy for a person to remain in the source just as the pure being. It is very nature of the ego or the I thought to hold on to the worldly objects. So, to the extent we keep our attention on the I thought, we keep our attention on ourselves instead of the worldly objects, to that extent the I thought will subside back into its source of the self-awareness. I thought has to identify itself, hold on to any of the forms, the worldly objects, or if it is not allowed to hold on to worldly objects or thoughts, it will turn within and subside back into the pure I. This is what we are trying to achieve in the practice of Mahayoga, the direct path of abundance, happiness. We don't let the I thought to hold on to the any other thoughts or the objects. By shifting our attention towards the I am, the pure I, so that the I thought cannot hold on to the worldly objects, and when it finds that it cannot hold on to the worldly objects, it will subside back into the source of the pure I and remain as pure I. So the more we keep I thought subsided in the pure I, the more it will lose its strength and gains an inclination to remain in the source of pure I. By this constant, effortless, consistent practice of being still, being within, it is just being. The I thought will slowly lose all its strength and inclination to hold on to worldly objects and remain within, immersed in the pure I. So this is the straight way, most direct and fastest way to experience Bhagavan or Ishvara or God. Because in this path we directly go to the source of the mind. We don't do anything with the mind. Any experiences which are out of the mind are not in real the truth. So we directly seek the source of the mind in this practice of Mahayoga, thereby directly losing our ego by subsiding the mind in its source of self-awareness, the I am, the pure I, thereby being able to remain in the experience of the pure being all the time. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.